Hi, this is Mark from Glide Consultants, and I'm going to take you through the basic features of the InvApp. That is, accessing the evidence, sorting it, filtering it, the sort of thing you'll do pretty much every time you use the application. What you see here is the home screen of an InvApp for what was a live case, which ended in late 2014. With the documentary exhibits, statements, the unused materials, which were extensive, we also handled the transcripts and made them accessible from the InvApp each day as the trial played out. There's a total of just under 4,500 individual documents, the total amount of pages being just shy of 350,000. And as we'll see, any and all of those documents are no more than a few seconds and a couple of clicks away. So what you see here is the title of the case. There's a timer down in the bottom right hand corner, so the user can keep track of session time, and most importantly these buttons along the left hand side which allow access to the various sections of data or functionality. In this group at the top you can see buttons marked exhibits, jury bundle, statements, transcripts and unused material. They refer, as you'd imagine, to sections of the evidence, and I'll show you how they work in a second. The second grouping shows buttons marked miscellaneous, tagged, search and settings. These allow access to analytical functions which are covered in separate videos. I'm going to start at the top with the exhibits section. Quite a big section, so it takes a moment to open. What we have here is the documentary exhibits for the case. You can see at the top left hand corner there are 2,560 items in total, numbered from 1 through to 1,366, brackets 59. And I happen to know that in aggregate that represents over 13,000 individual pages of evidence. And the key features here are, firstly, for each item you can see the information related to each exhibit. So in this instance, from left to right, you have the item number, a date or a range of dates, a description of the item, a reference from the ICAC, who are the investigating authority in this case, who the document was seized or produced by, the name of the individual who identified it, page number within the relevant bundle, remarks where there are any, and a column here for tags, which is something the user adds. The tagging function, as I mentioned earlier, is covered in a separate video. And secondly, and probably most importantly of all, by double clicking on any of these documents, said document is open in your default PDF reader. You can see here the document is titled sensibly, in this case Exhibit 1 brackets S, the S standing for searchable, so you can search through that document if you choose. You can also click the View Document button, which may be easier if, for example, you're on a tablet. You can also right-click and select View Document if you prefer. So there's a few ways there of accomplishing the same thing. So at its most basic, this is what the InvApp gives you: instant access to the evidence. In this particular section, the Exhibits section, an easy way to find the page or pages you're looking for out of the 13,000 or so which are present. And by extension to the other sections in this particular case, access to well over 250,000 pages. To go back to the column headers, it is possible to sort the data by any of these factors, the most clearly useful perhaps being the date. So by clicking the date header, there you go, the first item is now in July 1972, and you can see as I'm scrolling down there that we go forward in time. And this would have obvious applications in, for example, the preparation of timelines. Okay, moving on, also available is what we call a quick search on this index of exhibits. You can also think of it as a filter for this particular set of documents. So, as I've mentioned, there's 2,560 items in total. So I'm going to highlight the quick search box and type, say for example, invoice. I hit enter. You can see now we have 27 hits, each of which contain the word invoice somewhere in one of these columns of data, in this case probably in the description. You can continue to sort these as you see fit. And I can in fact dig a little deeper, say by entering fee. It will search within the existing results, so now we have 6 items which have invoice and fee somewhere in there. You can use this to search for names, places, etc., whatever you choose. In fact, if I clear that, you can search for a particular date. So if I enter 21st June 2005, then it locates 21 items which have that particular date in the date column. This particular section works best as one page, but often it's appropriate to present information in a tabbed format. So if we head to the unused material section, it's very similar, but you can see across the top tabs A through G, with tab A for items related to Raphael Hoy, who's the defendant in the case, B for Thomas Kwok, C for his brother Raymond, D and E for other defendants, then F for others, and G for for additional others, and there's also a tab for all items. And you can do the exact same stuff from before, sorting, quick searching, etc. And in fact, while I'm here, I'm just going to run a quick search for DVD, and you'll see that where evidence is not in the form of PDFs, for example in this case it's a video, the InvApp can still handle it, and here you'll see that it plays on your computer's video player. So however your evidence is formatted, we'll find a way to handle it. As far as presentation goes, the interface usually does a pretty good job of sizing the columns and rows based on the contents and size of your screen, but if you like, you can stretch or shrink the columns. It's the same for the rows. You can move and resize the windows, and having moved and resized this windows, close it down. Next time you open it, it's in the same spot with the same dimensions, all of which serves to make life a little easier. The three sections I haven't looked at are jury bundle, statement and transcript, so if we take a quick look at those. The jury bundle is tabbed, sections A through J, in a similar fashion to the unused materials. Statements, well in this case they were Chinese and English statements, so both are available, as there were a number of multilinguists in the team for this particular case. And the transcripts were uploaded to us at the end of each day, and we made them available via the InvApp in time for the next morning. As you can see, you can have a number of windows open at the same time. And as far as the basic features of the InvApp go, that hopefully gives you a pretty good overview.